All right, what's up, everybody? This is going to be the next edition in my The Greatest of All Time series. Last time when I started it, I did it on DMX. This time it's going to be on, as you can tell, Nas, aka Nasir Jones, aka Nas Escobar, Esco, Nostradamus. And I didn't say this in the last video, the DMX video, but how I rank the greatest of all time, at least in hip hop, I grade it by runs. Okay, in hip hop, honestly, you get a 5, 6 to maybe even 10 year run as like the top artist or one of the top three hottest artists in the game. 5, 6, 10 years. Okay, so that's how I really grade it. Of course, I look at your whole career, but realistically, I look at your 6 to 10 year because that's like your prime or time the industry gives you as being the hottest artist in the game or one of the top artists in the game. Then they try to remove you and push you out the way. And meanwhile, when you're at the peak of your powers, the top of your career, they're building up your replacement. They did that with Nicki Minaj. When Nicki Minaj was hot and doing her thing, they were building up Cardi B. Okay, that's really why Nicki don't like Cardi, because Cardi's her replacement. If we're just being real about it, but that's something else. But anyway, Nas's run like as a top tier artist to me was probably from about '94 to 2002. That's an 8 year run, During that time, he dropped Illmatic. It was written. I Am, which was a good, okay album, and Stillmatic and Godson. Of course, he did the cult classic film Belly. In that run, he dropped. Okay, and of course, I know he had this little dry spell, Nostradamus. That was a whack album, and, a lot of shit in the beef with Jay-Z. A lot was going on for Nas during that time. His mother passed away, a lot. But, let's get into this, okay? Starting with this, Illmatic. Okay, some say it's the greatest hip-hop album of all time. That's definitely up for debate. It's, for damn sure, in my opinion, the greatest debut hip-hop album of all time. A question, that's saying a lot. But Illmatic is the greatest debut hip-hop album of all time. Classic bangers on, New York State of Mind, Life's a Bitch, Halftime. It's filled with great songs you can listen to. Listen to in the car, listen to at your house, whatever. Nas was never really like a club rapper, club pop rapper, I mean, he tried to be and that failed, but Nas was never really like that. So of course Illmatic's not gonna be something you play in the club, but it is a great album to listen to, from a lyrical standpoint, storytelling standpoint, and it changed hip hop. Okay, it changed hip hop from the standpoint of, see, before this album, you had like maybe one producer work for your whole album, or 2 or 3 work on your whole album. Nas, he was working with all types of the top producers in the game at that time. DJ Premier, Large Professor. I think he got Q-Tip to make a beat for him on this. He was working with all types of top bars. Now, how you see all these artists, these rappers go get, London on the track or Metro Boomin or whoever, a top producer in the game, all these top producers, 8, 9, 10 producers to work on their album. Nas was the one that started that with Illmatic. So that's one thing introduced, during his career, his legendary career. Now, this is, of course, It Was Written. It Was Written, which in my opinion is, to me, his best album. To me, I think it's better than Illmatic personally. That's why I said I'm not going to call Illmatic the greatest hip-hop album of all time, because to me, it's not even not his best album. This is It Was Written. I think it had 14 tracks on it. It came out in 1996, which 1996 is probably the best year in the history of hip-hop. I mean, so many classic albums were dropped that year. It Was Written, Tupac dropped All Eyes on Me, and then the Don Illuminati album. The Fugees dropped The Score. Outkast dropped ATLiens, which is a great album. Ghostface Killer dropped Iron Man. UGK, they dropped Riding Dirty. Like, this was just a great year for hip hop. So many classic albums dropped in one year. How often do we see that? But it was, let me not forget Jay-Z's Reasonable Doubt, But Nas, It Was Written was part of that mafioso rap style that was, reintroduced by Raekwon the Chef. It was really introduced by Kool G Rap in the late 80s, but Raekwon the Chef of the Wu-Tang Clan brought it back in 1995 with his legendary album, Only Built for Cuban Links. And of course, not on that album, Nas was the first rapper who was not affiliated with the Wu-Tang Clan to be featured on a Wu-Tang album. And that's where he introduced his character of Nas Escobar, his alter ego of Nas Escobar. Okay, and he further delved into that character on this album, which is a mafioso style rap album. helped carry on that Mafio's rap style. That and Reasonable Doubt. It was written. The song with Lauryn Hill, "If I Ruled the World," and shit. I don't know. I always forget the songs on this album. I Gave You Power, the song he did when he told the story of a gun, told the story through the perspective of a gun. That was just an all-time great artist and great visualization. This is Still Modding. Of course, this was his seen as his comeback album. After that's another story for another day. But anyway, this is Still Modding. This was, of course, during his beef with Jay Z, the height of his beef with Jay Z. This was a couple months after Jay Z dropped the Takeover diss. Of course, which on the second verse he infamously dissed Nas. Or the third verse, excuse me. It began at the end of the second verse. Ask Nas, he don't want it with Hove. No, stuff like that. Then he went on second verse or third verse to diss Nas further. Okay, that woke up a sleeping dragon in Nas. He's going through a lot of that time, and Nas just said, "Fuck it." Then he dropped Ether, a legendary diss track, arguably the greatest diss track of all time in hip hop. It was dropped on December 4th, 01, which of course most people know is Jay-Z's birthday. And yeah, Nas won the battle with that, and he honestly won the battle overall because Nas and Jay-Z, and I might do a video on this, but Nas and Jay-Z had a Mr. Incredible syndrome dynamic. And, I'll do a video on that, so I'll go deeper into that eventually. But that's what they had. So Jay-Z was basically a butthurt fanboy. He had Nas on the pedestal. Nas rejected him, wouldn't show him any attention, so Jay-Z just flipped out, and he wanted to proverbially kill Nas, destroy Nas, and it didn't work. He got his ass whooped on Ether. Okay, and then Still Modding is a whole album, One Mic, Rewind. Classic bangers out on this album. Okay, God's Son. This was the follow-up to Still Modding. Came out in 2002, late 2002. This was after his mom's passed away and everything, going through a lot of emotional stuff, Of course, he had the classic song, Major Look. And then he did the song, I'm the last real nigga alive, which he explained the Jay-Z beef and his whole career up to that point. 2002. This is a classic album to me. This is a classic album to me. I really like this album. One of his best albums, I probably put in like his top 5, Illmatic, it was written, Still Modding, and this. I'd probably put this above. Yeah, probably I put it in that order. That order. It was written, Illmatic, Still Modding, then God's Son. Okay, and I probably put Life is Good, rounding that out. Probably put it fifth. People may disagree with that. That's okay. But yeah, Nas' run, 94 to 02. He dropped 4 classic albums. Classic songs. He influenced hip. He's the greatest lyricist in the history of hip hop. To me, you can definitely debate that. The greatest lyricist. He had his own style. He introduced the trope per se of getting all these mega producers to work on your album. He's influenced artists that came after him. Jay-Z, believe it or not, he influenced Eminem. Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole. A lot of people have Nas top 5, top 10, or the greatest of all time. I heard Juicy J say he thinks Nas is the greatest of all time. Not the greatest of all time. I think J. Cole thinks that as well. I think J. Cole said he was Pac, but personally, I think he believes it's Nas, which is, it's fine. If he doesn't, it's fine. Lupe Fiasco. He just influenced so many artists. You can look at, if you have an iPhone, you can go on iTunes, Apple Music, whatever, and they have this playlist called Inspired By playlist. So they got Inspired By Nas playlist. They got all these artists that were influenced by Nas and songs from all of them. Lil Kim, I believe, is on it. Foxy Brown's on it. But also Mobb Deep, of course. Mobb Deep Nas helped put on for Queensbridge. So yeah, that's why I think Nas definitely deserves to be in the GOAT conversation. As one of the greatest of all time. He's in my top 5. People who don't know, like I said in my DMX video, I believe it's DMX who's the greatest of all time. But Nas is definitely in my top 5. He probably honestly is 2 or 3. So I probably put him in my top 3. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. So see ya.